He literally looked at me and he was like, I feel like I'm the bottom of the barrel of where I'm at right now. And he kind of was. Felt like a couple weeks later, hey, I got up to 97. A couple weeks later, hey, I just pumped a 98. In playoffs, he ended up sitting 98.
I was a little banged up, a little hurt. So a lot of last off season was kind of cleaning up some stuff, making sure that my body could kind of handle the workload that it needed to.
So when I got him, he was basically shut down. He's thrown hard in the past, but he was just really inconsistent. He'd have games where he'd be 5 to 7, getting up there, cruising pretty well. But then he had other games where he drops down to the low 90s. Stuff was just super inconsistent. So the main thing that we kind of really just talked about was getting him healthy first.
Last off season, towards the end, as we were getting ready for the season, it was a lot of working on the pitches I'd been throwing, but kind of narrowing down what we wanted them to do and how we wanted them to act in certain situations. So that was a lot of the work that we put in pitch design-wise. Keeping the same pitches, just kind of getting better on the margins and making sure that we could execute the pitches we needed to when we needed to.
A little less, but right shape. 19. Clearly. You're throwing that hard too. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, velo's solid on it. Is it really going to be 88 or is it going to come out hotter? Nice. Mature throw there. Each week it felt like a subtle progression. Velocity was slowly climbing. It was going really smooth. Towards right before he got shipped off and going back to his team, he was like flicking 94, 95s and a 9 pockets. And I know we were in a really, really good spot.
You know, as I got into this season, there was some mental blocks I had to get over. There was pretty much a big turning point in the season where we got on a call and things weren't going poorly, but I had more than I was giving. We both knew it.
First half of the season, things felt a little bit shaky. Like he had some games that came out, the ball was jumping really good. He had other games where it just felt still a little bit off. I remember we had a conversation where he literally looked at me and he was like, I feel like I'm the bottom of the barrel of where I'm at right now in terms of just overall the staff. And he kind of was. There was a portion of time where he didn't throw for an entire week, like 10 days, he didn't pitch at all. And that's really where the mental side of things really, we dove in on it.
There was no talk about mechanics, no talk about anything. And it was just about letting me trust my body and stuff, because you know, I think there had still been a little bit of, you know, hesitation based off coming off the injuries and stuff.
Again, he got hurt twice, and I think when you're a young player, you get hurt twice, then the alarms start ringing a little bit of like, hey, I got to make something happen. There's a tendency to try and rush things and then try to like change a bunch of stuff.
And we finally got to a point where it was like, in this game, you never know if there's going to be tomorrow or not. So kind of had to let everything go and found a headspace where we could do that and trust my body to handle it. It kind of did switch one day where we had a call and, you know, maybe it was the outing or the next outing or 2 outings. It was like, it just kind of flipped. Like I finally trusted the body, trusted the work that had been put in. And
he just told me, he's like, I'm going to go out next session and throw pissed off. You know, he went out, threw pissed off, and he hit me up with, hey man, I just sat, you know, 6 in an outing, and he's never really done that before.
And from there, kind of a switch flipped throughout the season, and we just kept on going. When things aren't going well, it's easy to have these nice long calls about everything. Once you start figuring it out, it's about keeping yourself there, keeping at that high level.
He's going out there and like, this dude is going to blow doors and be able to just go and attack hitters. And I remember seeing videos of him like coming off the field, yelling, screaming, like fired up. And it's like, seeing that mentality shift mid-season was like one of the coolest moments for me. Felt like a couple weeks later, hey, I got up to 97. A couple weeks later, hey, I just pumped a 98, which was like all-time high for him. In playoffs, he ended up sitting 98. In-season adjustments, like fastball vert shot up a little bit once he started throwing harder. And then that also created greater separation from the four seam and the splinker to be able to make that pitch more effective.
In the ranks of professional baseball, like we talked about, like the margins are so small. We did kind of a bigger overhaul last offseason of cleaning everything up, making sure that my body could handle what was to come, a full pro season.
He has to balance being a professional bullpen guy. You got to balance being able to throw back-to-back days every other day. And that's a very tough challenge to make changes when you're throwing every other days.
I think everybody gets into a real bad spot when you're trying to think through every little thing in your throw throughout the whole season. Like, it's a long season. You're not going to feel great every outing. Even when things kind of don't feel great, it's still got to have that trust that the work you've put in has kind of gotten you to this point.
Going in and being a guy that sits 98, you know, as a bullpen guy in any organization, I think there's a lot of good stuff to be said about that.